Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to my daily number 8. Number 8. Oh man, it's December the 1st, 2017, and welcome to Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. First things first, if this is the first time you've ever been to my channel and caught this beautiful face, this face, I want to let you know you have a couple of options. You can do nothing. If you like the video, you can give me a thumbs up. That's just right down there, I think. And if you like my channel and you want to become a part of it, you can subscribe to my channel. There's a little icon over here, but there's also the big subscribe button over there. And there's a little bell icon just over here too. If you hit that, every time I post a video, you'll get like an email or something telling you, hey, Bruce is doing it again. You can check him out. Love to have you join the channel. The more subscribers I get, the more YouTube promotes my channel. It's like a symbiotic relationship. Fantastic. Today's subject on December the 1st, now that we're coming into the Christmas movement here, I wanted to talk to you about how the world has changed since Steve Jobs with Apple introduced the original version of this. Not this version. The original version was probably only about this big. The iPhone, the smartphone. You know, in the short number of years that this was introduced to the world at large, I think we're now 10, 11 years into this. A lot has changed, and I wanted to sort of run down a list with you today as to what businesses don't exist anymore or are almost gone. I once saw a movie with Danny DeVito, I think it's called Other People's Money, and he talked about, maybe it wasn't Danny DeVito, it was a movie was talking about how you are the best in the business because you're the last in the business, and it was talking about buggy whips. The last company to make buggy whips was the best buggy whip maker left in the world. Problem was, buggies were going out of fashion, and within a few years nobody will need a buggy whip anymore, and even the best run business that survived everybody else will die as well. And in the case of the iPhone, a lot of good quality businesses that ran for decades, for many years, just don't exist anymore, and I keep coming up with another one and another one and another one. So I'm going to read off a list here and tell you some of the businesses that you probably know right off the top of your head don't exist anymore, but some of them you might not have realized are disappearing or have disappeared. And it goes into a large measure because this unit here is really not a telephone, as we all know. It's not a telephone. It's a movie maker, it's a picture taker, it's an internet accessor, it is a software accessor, it is a, it can do a zillion things. And don't you feel naked when you leave the house without it? If you forget it at work or you forget it at home somewhere and you're away from this for a couple hours, don't you feel useless and out of touch? It's incredible how this has become an extension of our lives. It's really amazing. Okay, so without any further ado, let me rattle off a few businesses that really don't exist anymore. First on my list that I thought of the other day was the 1-hour photo shops that every shopping mall once had around the world. I mean, 1-hour photo processing. You bought a camera, you had a little handheld camera, and you bought a little plastic cartridge for film. You popped it in there, you took your photos. Even if you were a business, like I was once a retailer and I needed to take photos of inventory, I would take photos of inventory with this little El Cheapo camera, Instamatic or whatever they were called. I mean, the cameras were plastic, they were garbage, or even a 35 millimeter. And then you take the film to a 1-hour photo place right in the shopping mall. Go shopping, go to the food court for an hour or two, eat some cheap Chinese food, shop around, come back, and then the photos would be developed and it would run you, $6, $8, $10, and they'd throw in another roll of film with the deal. So you knew, hey, as soon as I finish with these photos, get them developed, I get another roll of film in my camera and I'm ready to take pictures anytime I want to. Problem was, the photos you're taking, you have no idea what they're going to look like. Are they blurry, out of focus? Was the film bad? Is the camera, defective? You don't know. How many hundreds of thousands of these shops don't exist anymore that used to offer picture frames for sale, and they offer passport photos right on the spot, picture enhancing. I mean, there's still a few places you can go to get photography work done, but it is, I bet you, less than 5% of the total. They're almost completely gone, and that would be millions of people's jobs that just disappeared because of the iPhone. Another one that's really rapidly disappearing is something known as the Internet Cafe or the Internet Center. You know, I was on a vacation a number of years ago in Europe, and I needed to do some business work. I had to get a document printed. I had to write my signature. I had to fax it and then mail it. I would go to an internet cafe, and they had, you know, desktop computers available for you to use. And you'd log into your email account, whatever it was, and then you would print the document off at the front of the shop, and then you do what you did with it, or altered it, or what have you, and then you would fax it, and that's another thing that's gone. Fax machine. You would fax the document back to where you got it from, because to be able to scan it was almost unheard of at that point. Today with this iPhone, unbelievable. You can receive your documents, look at your emails, forward documents, e-signing. It's unbelievable from a business point of view. So that's another one that's gone. Fax machines, I just mentioned, gone. Something a little older is a teletype machine. When I first started as a stockbroker back in the 70s, we used teletype machines for those trades that happened in New York, because we were up in Canada and we had to teletype the order in writing to the floor. Another one that's gone is something known as the Dow Jones News Ticker Machine. And in the movies you might see them where the lawyers or the stockbrokers, the financial analysts are all huddled around a little machine that's standing in the office against the wall, and it's just going, and this paper keeps coming out. It looks like long rolls of toilet paper, and it would be just this constant sheet, and it would be headlines, news headlines. Financial and world events. I remember when Reagan was shot by John Hinckley Jr. outside the Washington Hotel. That Dow Jones ticker machine had a bell whenever something serious happened. 5 bells. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ding, 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 ding. Then it would just ding, 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 ding. And we all got up going, what the hell is going on with the machine? Is it malfunctioning? Is it broken? Or is there something bad going on? Oh, there was something bad going on. The news came out about Reagan, and it was just nonstop. That's a machine that's gone now, because it's replaced by this with Twitter, with instant access to news feeds, and then to ourselves. I hear something that I think my buddy should know. I let them know through a quick text message, and that's how news spreads nowadays. Back to the brokerage business for a second. Most stockbrokers don't exist anymore. There used to be stock brokerage firms in every town, every city, across Canada and the United States. And you wanted to buy and sell stock, you'd call your broker, and the broker would place an order for you. And that would go through a chain of 4 or 5 people until it got to the floor. And the stock would be transacted, and then the order would come back, 4 or 5 people back on the way back, and you'd get a call from your broker saying, yeah, you just bought some stock. Now we do it on our phones, we do it on our laptops. This, again, has given us access to our own financial services, in effect. Banks are another area. Most bank branches are disappearing faster than you can imagine. I remember that here in Canada we have 5 big banks or 6 big banks, and in every medium-sized town and up, every bank had a branch. Not anymore. And in big cities, you've probably noticed it too, that the number of branches that your bank has now, a handful compared to what it was, say, 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Because you have access to your money through your telephone. Payphones, another one. Try and find a payphone. I mean, we see one now and we kind of, oh wow, look at that, a payphone, isn't that interesting? And phone cards. Remember we used to buy phone cards at the 7-Eleven or your convenience store or at the grocery store? Phone cards are on the way out. Another one that's gone, in the news business, local TV stations are quickly disappearing. They're consolidating. And local newspapers, that has been going on for quite a while now. Newspapers are disappearing so fast. Even the large papers are in trouble and have been in trouble for a number of years. They tried to get into the e-news business or the i-news business. How difficult is it for a newspaper, a local small-town newspaper, to compare with this? It's amazing. Most of us growing up now, if you're younger, you'll never know the fact that there was a time where you received your Sunday paper from the New York Times or LA Times maybe once a week. You had your daily from the big paper, and then you got maybe the weekly from your local town paper. And that tradition, all three are quickly just evaporating. The numbers are way off. Movie theaters disappearing so fast. Movie theaters used to be a family-owned business, and every small, medium town and cities, even large cities, had mom-and-pop movie theater chains or movie theater centers. They're being dominated now by big chains, and even the screens are disappearing. The numbers are backing off. Cable TV is suffering because of lower numbers. Companies that don't exist anymore: Kodak, Polaroid, the record stores, HMV record stores, Virgin Records. Remember Virgin? Used to have record stores everywhere. In Canada, we had Sam the Record Man. Iconic brand, absolutely iconic. I think A&M also had a record chain. Those are all gone. I used to love going into the record store and just hanging out and looking at the new albums and checking out the covers and reading the back and who was on this track and that. It's all gone now. Blockbuster video stores, wow, they had, I don't know how many thousands of locations around the world. Virtually gone, completely gone. I read somewhere there's maybe one or two left in Alaska of all places. And then the mom and pop video stores that used to exist. Those were the first ones out. When VCRs hit the big time, mom and pop shops had VCRs for rent for the weekend and VCR tapes for rent. And you would go in on Friday afternoon or Friday night after work, and you'd rent a VCR because they were $800 to buy. And you'd get 2 or 3 movies and watch the movies Friday night and Saturday night, bring the unit back on Sunday. And then as time went on, we had our own VCRs, and we just went to these mom and pop shops to rent a movie. And then Blockbuster came out, and we couldn't believe that Blockbuster would have 15 copies of the latest movie to be released on video. Well, of course, Friday night, they're all gone anyway. So you'd walk around and see all these boxes of movies available, but behind it there was no tape because they were already rented out. This has changed it all right here. One last thing that occurred to me this morning are tickets. Tickets are disappearing. Ticket to a concert, ticket to a sporting event. Tickets are disappearing. A ticket now is on here. You scan this. I took a train ride in Germany on a high-speed train last year, and my ticket was on this. I never got a paper ticket. I confirmed my travel on the phone, and I showed the conductor my ticket with that little box, and he scanned it, and it's all good. Unbelievable. So that's another area of the world that's just disappeared, and of course it's the changing world that we're in. It continues to evolve. Some of these changes are just natural. They're just going to happen anyway, but a lot of them are because of innovation. New innovations are taking out the old innovations, and some of these businesses weren't that old. The 1 hour photo was from the 70s and the 80s. It wasn't like from the 40s or anything like that. In 1960, you wanted film done, you dropped it off at a camera shop and you waited a week to get it back. If you had super expedited service, you got like a 2 or 3 day service, and you paid dearly for that. And of course, as we know, 1 hour photo centers, they did charge a little extra for the 1 hour service, or they gave you a better deal if you came back tomorrow, and they could do it overnight. But a lot of these businesses were created in the, say, 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, and they only lasted 10 or 15 or 20 years, and then they were annihilated with technology. Unbelievable. And going forward, what will this machine do to us and change our lives? There's so much more coming. It is going to be exciting. It's going to be amazing to watch. But this is today's daily, to just kind of give you a quick overview of how many millions of jobs and businesses don't exist anymore because of the iPhone or the smartphone, and how things are evolving in front of our eyes. It's quite amazing. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you tolerated it all right. Again, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Check all my videos out. There's about 82, 83 of them now. And subscribe here or here, and become a subscriber and follower of my channel. And we'll talk to you next time. This is the end of the 8th Daily. Thanks for joining me. It's Bruce with Traveling with Bruce. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.